start with the program.
All right, sir.
Yeah.
So good morning to all of you. Hello and welcome to our webinar on scaling of legal education in a post-lockdown period. So this webinar is hosted in association with Uplearn Academy, hosted for specialized learning during crisis. My name is Dr. Annama Samuel, Faculty of Law at GD Goenka University. Now, indeed, it's a great pleasure and proud privilege to welcome our distinguished speaker, Professor Dr. Ranbir Singh. Professor needs no introduction. He is one of the finest legal luminaries of our country. Sir, I would like to give a brief introduction about yourself.
Very brief, very brief.
All right, sir. Professor Dr. Ranbir Singh is the former and founder Vice Chancellor of National Law University, Delhi. Sir is also on the advisory board of GD Goenka University. Sir has over 2 decades of experience in handling the law schools. So before his stint at the National Law School, Delhi, he was the founder, Vice Chancellor of NALSAR University of Law. Professor Singh's contribution in redesigning legal education in the country has been significant, being a member of the Legal Education Committee of the Bar Council of India. And Professor Singh has been the recipient of many awards in recognition of accomplishments, both as an administrator and teacher or researcher. So before I hand over the session to you, sir, I would like to inform a few preliminaries of the webinar. We are live on Facebook. We are live on the GD Goenka Facebook page and also the Uplearn Academy page. We would, of course, love to hear from all the participants. So please stick with us till the end of the session. If you have any questions, you can unmute your mic, switch on your camera and ask, or else you can send it through the chat tab, which is at the bottom of the screen. We'll pick them up towards the end of the session. Now I request Professor Dr. Ranbir Singh to share his thoughts on how legal education will help to codify the new norm and drive the society through this social change.
I think let's take the questions in the end.
Yes, sir. We will take the questions in the end of the session.
The topic of my talk would be leveraging technology inputs for outcomes. And somebody very rightly remarked, a great professor of Portland University, Oregon in USA, within quotes, we are approaching the new era with 21st century technology, with 20th century governing process and 19th century governing structures. That is the problem. That disconnect between the century moving very fast and the governing process are very slow, and we are still not in having in place the governing structures. It is often said that the future is not going to be the same. We have seen it. In fact, forget about the future, even the morning is not going to be the same. The COVID-19 situation we saw, that we suddenly woke up to a different world. And probably the Yogi Berra's truism today, with unprecedented paradigm shift happening through the information technology growth or disruption in all walks of life and impacting the legal fraternity. A decade back, one cannot imagine a lawyer posing for a photograph without the backdrop of aesthetically arranged bookshelf of law books, or a law school without priding of a covered physical law library as its central architecture. But can you believe today, the today's world, nobody in the wildest imagination would have dreamt that an accomplished lawyer could pose today with a smart pad, or a student accessing everything under the shade of a tree in the campus in the smartphone. This is what has happened. Human history is in the sense about technological evolution and its regulation by some form of law. Today we witness it is being turned over its head, where technology seems to be deciding the forms of regulations of future of law. As a constant, there are two sides, one favoring to side with technology as the new master of law, on the other side, reiterating that law will be the permanent master, overseeing the regulation of technology by law. I leave it to you which side you belong, or you may be oscillating between these sides at different circumstances. The law technology interface has been a turbulent path where the old edge, all data is not information, and not all information is facts. All facts are not knowledge, and all knowledge is not wisdom. And we all know that information is certainly not knowledge, and knowledge is certainly not wisdom. So, in law schools, how we transform the information to knowledge to wisdom is anybody's guess. But those on technology side are arguing with imperfect and selective data. The wisdom is skewed. They argue that technology has reached a stage which will provide accurate information which can lead to an objective wisdom. The vote may be again on both sides. A comprehensive information data which could be generated by today's technology input can change outcomes, and yet at the same time the human element which shapes the technology can be predominant inadvertently or intentionally such outcome. While I would come back to the crux of the issue of the debate on outcomes, let me express my understanding and oscillations on the subject of leveraging the technology inputs for outcomes on three aspects of the legal world. They are legal education, lawyering, and justice delivery system. The three-dimensional aspect of the world of law are wrapped by the fourth dimension of technology. This presentation is based on the literature available today and my reflections on the same to you to make your own analysis. I'm not claiming that I'm the latest. As I said in the beginning, we are still lagging behind and the technology is moving very, very fast. And let me first come to leveraging technology and legal education. Among the current dominant branches of professional education, namely medicine, technology, and law, it is easily understood that law encompasses the other two as its subjects. Law is required to address and resolve all issues under the sun. The first step for aspiring law student is to get hold of information not only about existing laws, but evolving subjects of astrophysics to gen to religion, by which I mean a law student has to almost uh, be aware of almost everything on earth. It is in this context that the law library, a physical space with a world of books, became the nerve center for legal institutions. The privileged institutions at the physical best library, for example, if I quote my own example of NLU Delhi, with about 60,000 books and all software and database, which anybody best law school in the world would have, give access to students to about 30,000 articles and 3,000 journals at any point of time, whether they are on campus or they are off campus. And the underprivileged had the bare minimum. These outcomes were divided on such parameters. Everybody can share that kind of information, whosoever it may be, and uh, without any kind of a digital divide. This centuries-old divide has been their first dates. We can no more judge a student by the time he spends in the physical library. This is precisely the impact of leveraging technology inputs of outcomes in the field of legal education. Few years back, I had the occasion to go to hello.
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Yes, sir. Please carry on. You are audible, sir.
But there's some internet problem again. Yeah.
Now it's resolved, sir. We can hear you.
Is it okay? Huh?
Yes, sir. It's okay. We can
Okay.
hear you now.
Uh, so I was saying that we have come to a stage where we may not need a physical space for the library. As I was giving an example of one of the universities in USA. I went around the university and then said, "Where is your library?" They said, "We don't have a library now." And the library space was a kind of a canteen, and the whole library was turned into a digital library. They said the entire library we had, the students can share it digitally. For me, it was very odd. I found that imagining a university without a library, I never heard. And I found the university very barren. I did not make any comments. The dean was there, the other professors were there. We were also a few people from India. But I found the entire thing unacceptable and very odd. And this has somehow placed a tremendous pressure on the old school teaching method, where the lecturer is still comfortable with the content prepared for few years ago, now confronted by the student who has updated information thanks to the technology offerings. Can you believe what is happening to the faculty today? If you cite some case from the Supreme Court that in 1980 so and so thing happened, some students will get up and say, but madam or sir, uh, 2020 this month, last month, this is what the Supreme Court has said. If you look into your uh, database, this is the latest decision of the Supreme Court. So the teachers, the faculty find challenged every day in and out because the students are very comfortable with the modern technology. So we find that the smarter faculty has to keep ahead in the same universe of technology enabled content. And if they don't, then they will face a lot of difficulties in the classroom. Though I belong to the chalkboard generation and I still love it, uh, that's why I retired, because I may not like the present technological uh, revolution. The book in the second self-top corner era, but endorse and fully back the technology-led inputs that has positively and productively changed the legal education sector. The entire gamut of legal education, teaching, and research has changed. The need of the hour is the retraining of the old guard to the use of technologies and to give priority to the technology enabled inputs in legal education. We saw it suddenly when the COVID came in. We were not that online savvy teachers or faculty, and suddenly we had to train ourselves in all kinds of the systems to go online and teach the students. Suddenly, life was different. What is the flip side to this irreversible and desirable trend? The issue is again historical. As I mentioned that there were rich and poor resources of physical libraries, it could again repeat itself with rich and poor digital resources impacting the outcome of the products of legal education system. Technology is a gene out of the bottle, and certainly it is an exciting outcome. But the mood question, what happens if the journey is affordable to some and not to others? Digital divide would be a very difficult situation. And we are already facing that situation. The solution is not throwing the genie into the bottle, but to work out regulations for access, affordability, and equal opportunity. These three factors would be very important for the law schools. The issue of open source, free access to law, legislative-led subsidies, corporate social responsibility, and a host of other issues are on the debate table. I may not discuss on these issues and confess that I do not have enlightened solutions of all these points which I mentioned. But I can certainly emphasize my current thinking and positive as to pronged approaches to this topic. Number one is to encourage and incentivize the innovation and dissemination technology, which leverage the inputs for outcomes in the legal education sector at the same time. Second, to work ways for balancing such efforts by innovative access policies of legislative efforts and public-private partnership models, than leaving them solely to market determinants. Uh, as a law teacher, quite often I was asked why I did not go to practice. It is a difficult question to answer. Should I say that I love teaching more than practice? That is the easy answer to give. Or to say that I would not have been successful as a lawyer and hence I chose this academic profession. Or should I confess that I feared that one has to compromise on ethics in practice, which may be true to some extent, which I need not do in teaching, or all of the above? Leaving the first answer of passion for teaching, the other two often rest on the debate that what is taught in law school is different from what is in the real world. We all know that. It is known sarcasm when they say that the only certainty in case is that of fees of the lawyer and rest are not predictable. Without getting into the factors, it is suffice to say that world over in different degrees, the average consumer views that they are at the inevitable mercy of lawyers. They claim all credit if they get the relief and transfer the discredits to the other circumstances if they fail to get the relief. The truth here is often somewhere in between again. I would argue that if the law schools are mandated to give you a general foundation and direction, the GPS, we called it, has to be developed by the practicing lawyer. This requires technology. In this context, the leveraging of technology will give inputs for better outcomes as far as the legal education is concerned. And again, the practitioners of law have been at loggerheads in the aspect of compared to other professionals. They are much ahead of us. This is, of course, is my personal view without any empirical study, but my experimental observation. You can ignore it if you don't agree with me. I have no problems. As I mentioned earlier, the client is impressed with huge volumes neatly stacked in your office to impress them. Could be one factor, or the smart marketing strategy of a lawyer for essential survival could be a factor. Yet it is changing thanks to the competition out there among the tech survivors. What started as more collating information has now led to paradigm shift that was waiting to happen. The report of this study commissioned by the International Legal Technology Association, ILTA, undertaken by the Fast Future Research between January 13 and 14, available at www.futureagency.com, summarizes the six critical issues. And those issues are: number one, an accelerating pace of technology disruption and diffusion with the associated challenges of learning to manage rapid systems change the embrace the strategic potential of IT. The strategic potential of IT is yet to be unfold, and we have to be ready for that. Responsiveness to client needs around value, speed, innovation, and security would be another issue. Third, industry level forces such as intensifying competition, changing firm structures, business models, new entrants, and a heightened talent agenda. We would have need a different kind of a talent pool to manage legal education and legal research in times to come. The fourth would be the impacts of consumerism, commodification, automation, and pursuit of optimal form scale. Fifth would be responsiveness to the opportunity and competitive challenges presented by emerging economies. And sixth would be the pursuit of differentiation in the face of continuous change. Thus, the verdict is out that leveraging technology for input for outcomes will decide the front runners and also reigns that who will go ahead, who will go, who will be left behind. The clients will be convinced of the efforts of their hired warriors if they are techno savvy. They will feel that effort has been expended by their lawyers in material of outcome of the case. If you are a kind of a technological expert, a lawyer, then you will have certainly a kind of a plus factor over the others. Uh, as far as the leveraging the technology and the justice delivery system is concerned, it is often said that teacher is as good as the classroom, and the same can be inferred that the justice delivery system is as good as the lawyering in the courtroom. Because whatever the lawyers, the kind of research they do, the kind of brief they present, the kind of material they give to judges uh, would be very, very important. And very renowned judge of, I think Frankfurt remarked that the quality of the judges will be determined by the quality of lawyers, and the quality of lawyers would be determined by the quality of the law schools, what you produce in your law faculties. Yet, we have had path-breaking judgments, analytical judgments which have overturned widely believed decisions, we call it. This is not a routine phenomena and often attributed to chosen few, but equally appalling is the loss of faith in judicial dispensation on a judge justice delayed is justice denied, we all believe. We all keep struggling every day that how to cut down delays in the courts, especially at the lower courts, because the bulk of the population of this country go to the lower courts. This becomes acute criminal justice delivery, uh, where a huge number spent as under trials for a period twice the time that they have to spend in the conviction. This phenomena is compounded in the populous developing countries where India may take the winner award. You know that the kind of uh, backlog we have as far as delays is concerned. The solutions a decade ago was hopeless, but changing and rather changing rapidly thanks to the advent of information technology, surfing on the internet platform, a whole gamut of new jargons have invaded the justice delivery system, like e-courts, e-filing, electronic evidence, electronic discovery, and other developments. And the students, the law schools, the faculty have to understand each and every concept of e-court, e-filing, electronic evidence, electronic discovery, and many other developments which are taking place across the not only across the globe but also in India. More and more, we are shifting to the technological side. We saw that most of our courts, including the Supreme Court, the all cases today, in view of the pandemic situation, are being taken up in the electronic form, in the digital mode. It would be appropriate to inform this audience that the integrated court management system was inaugurated a couple of weeks back at the Supreme Court of India. One may shrug off that this is in vogue in few countries in different forms. They did it long back, but it is significant for a developing country which has about 1.30 billion people, which also has the highest litigant. That is going to be a very, very big problem for us. And to share with you, uh, we started grappling with the delay in courts and the pending cases right in the year 1926, when the Britishers appointed the first committee known as the Ranking Committee. After that, there's hardly any year when a committee or a commission or a conference or a seminar has not been arranged by different stakeholders, the universities, the judicial academies, the Supreme Court, the High Courts, regarding tackling the issue of the delay of cases. But not much headway has been made, and the problem remains where it was. And we are looking to the technological solutions now. Let us see whether we'll be able to find ready-made technological solutions for dealing our delay problem. And indeed, I would say it was late but later than never. India has prowess in information technology. We all know that we are great leaders in as far as the service providers, as far as IT is concerned. For the last 2 decades, as the powerhouse of IT human resource, and we provide that resource to the entire world. Let me again share with you. I was in Washington for a IT IPR conference and staying in a hotel where every time the manager will come to me and say he had great fancy for Indians and started telling me that, Dr. Singh, do you know the power of Indians in the world? I never understood what he wanted to tell me. And he told me that as far as America is concerned, there are 24% people in the IT sector alone from Andhra Pradesh. And if you consider the entire country, they're about 36%. And if India decides that all their IT professionals will be called back and they'll go back to India today, the entire IT system of USA will collapse. Same is about doctors in USA, same as about doctors in UK. That is the power of India. I sometimes not very much interested in the debate, the world-class universities and all those things, which many in many parts of the world have those parameters. But at least we know it that India is in the forefront as far as the IT power is concerned. And not only this, I know that as far as the law schools are concerned, if you go to any magic circle law firm in UK, you'll find that there are number of students. I happened to visit last time being a member of the ACU, that is the Association Commonwealth of Universities, and I invited students for a dinner. And I found that 50 students turned out, and they said there are many more. So there are a lot of students working in the best of magic circle firms in UK. There are many in the best of firms in USA, and some have rose to have their own law firms, and that is the power of even legal professionals as far as India is concerned. Here again, the issue is often not technology, but the advantage which India has created. And but at the same time, technology remains an issue in India as well. The Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, participating in the inaugural of ICIMS in Supreme Court long back, has said uh, the software or hardware has never been a problem. It is the mindset that is a problem. Only when we try truly embrace technology, its benefits can percolate further. So we have to be mentally prepared to adopt the application of technology on in all what we do, whether we teach, whether we research, whether we do other activities, or it is office management, or whether it is conduct of CLAT, or whether it is conduct of pilot, whatever we do, technology is playing a very, very effective role, and we found that it is very, very efficient. I don't want to take much time, but I would sum up as I begin with the question of technology and law. I would sum up as follows. There are A, human history has been shaped by technology, which is a constant. B, such technologies may be neutral, but applied for unimaginable destructions in the past and threatens the future and need regulations. We are aware of what happened in Nagasaki and Hiroshima. These disruptive technologies can also go to the other extent of destroying the world, and nuclear power is one such danger which the world is facing. C, such technologies have now impacted the whole space of law, that of education. Some disruption again. Sorry, somebody's phone. So third, we said such technologies have now impacted the whole space of law, that of education, lawering, and judicial adjudication. Fourth, that is D, a technology comes to the aid of legal system. It is equally a subject matter under the scrutiny of legal system. And E, is technology a mere tool in the evolution of legal system, or it sets the agenda, has been the moot point today. The verdict is still not out, and this argument of interface between law and technology will continue. Ultimately, the question is, we have to, all of us, whether we are teachers or we are advocates or we are judges, have to remember that the ultimate aim is we must be keep in mind the interface between law and justice, because if law is not justice and justice is not law, states are nothing but great rubber bands. I'm reminded of a small incident where the car of a federal judge of the Supreme Court uh, broke down and he stopped a cab. The court was the other side of the road, and he said to the driver, "Will you take me to the court of law, the other side of the road?" And the driver looked back at the judge and said, "Do you want to go to the court of justice?" The judge said, "Sorry, I correct myself, and will you please take me to the court of justice?" The ordinary person here or anywhere else will look at the courts as the court of justice, and we have to see how technology will help us in delivering justice fast and efficiently. And as everybody knows that, and if you are more interested, I would advise every student of law and faculty to read the works of Richard Susskind, The Death of a Lawyer, that how the profession of lawyering is going to change in times to come. There are wonderful lectures on YouTube. There are 2, 3 books by him. Richard Susskind, Richard Susskind, is a very leading lawyer in UK. I had the occasion to attend one of the conferences in UK 3, 4 years back on access to justice, and there I had the occasion to hear him in one of the inaugural sessions. And what a wonderful speaker! And very, 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 his arguments were very forcible that what is going to happen in the future, especially in lawyering profession, as to how the technology will overtake the lawyering profession in terms of arguments, in terms of research. And his argument was that most of the profession will shift to online litigation, and especially online dispute resolution would occupy a very central place in the legal profession for times to come. I think I stop here. I believe I will give more time as I told Professor Tabrez, that I would be happy that I have more time for the question answer session. And I have all the time to have an open session with the students now. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to interact with you. There were some issues because you are also having internet problems. I'm in the process of settling down. As I mentioned with you, don't have a proper even table or other gadgets to still unpacking things. So it is with great difficulty to collect things and speak to you, but still happy that I could connect to you and we can share something on technology and law. I chose this topic specially because this is the topic of the day. Otherwise, what is legal education and how to teach, how to research has become very common, and COVID-19 has forced us, knowingly or unknowingly, to think very seriously about the interface between technology and law, how technology is going to change the future of legal education or the future of education, future of research. With this, I thank you and my best of luck and everything best to the Goenka Law School and to the faculty. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Now, there are a lot of questions in the chat box we have. So can I take it one by one?
Yes, yes.
Or I'll ask the students to post the questions to you?
Take by one.
All right, sir. Thank you. So the first question is, what will be the scope of law profession post-COVID-19? That's the first question.
The scope of the legal profession will remain the same. The only thing would be that dimensions would change. And when I say dimensions would change, you will not have the kind of internship you used to have physically. The interns, those will be more online, and the same would be to other lawyering skills which you want to acquire. Even your placements would be online. Nobody will come to your law school. Nobody will come to the law school. We have to recruit the students. Maybe they will devise ways and means that how the placements would be done. It would be good, it would be bad. good in the sense that best of students would be taken up from anywhere, from everywhere, irrespective of the fact whether you belong to a traditional law school or you belong to a law university. Maybe those walls will crumbling down, and the students will get placement on the basis of what skills they have acquired wherever they are. It would be a good signal, because that digital divide, if it is not there, it will certainly help the students. But the format will change, certainly change.
So the next question is, which all areas of law will take more importance in the next few years, considering the unprecedented crisis?
Yeah, dispute resolution online. ADR would acquire the center stage for dispute resolution. So we have to put more focus on ADR mechanisms for solving the cases. We already have a lot of input from the countries outside India that more and more people are getting into ADR mechanisms to solve legal cases.
Okay, sir. Next question is, will be any requirement of legal skills a future lawyer requires? Any shift in the requirement of legal skills?
Yes, they have to be, as I mentioned in my lecture, the interface between technology and law, IT and law, that is going to be very, very important. And any student who is comfortable with the changing technology would certainly have an edge. And another thing which I have been always saying, that the future lawyers have to be best of researchers. So they have to acquire skills of a good researcher, because what arguments you give to the court, now times are changing when you do research. And I've seen students from different law schools or from colleges, those who are with the judges, judges have a lot of praise for those students, those who work hard and do good research for the judges. Ultimately, judges also want that they should be given best of material when they have to decide on a particular topic. So the lawyers have to be best of researchers. So let us develop a kind of skill in the students, wherever they may be, that they learn to do good research. Yes.
Yes, sir. Okay. Like there are few more questions, but I will ask the students, any student or faculty would like to ask any questions, you can ask now, right now. You just have to switch on your mic.
Ma'am, may I?
Please, please.
Good morning, sir. Sir, my question is whether use of technology will be the new norm for delivering of justice?
Certainly, certainly. You see already the Supreme Court and especially the High Court of Delhi has taken up in a big way the concept of e-courts, and a lot of things are happening through video conferencing now. The entire litigation function this post-COVID-19 was done through video conferencing. So it is already taken up, and a time will come when it will take over. If you go to any country like Australia or even countries like Taiwan, you find that they are absolutely paperless courts. Absolutely paperless courts. You accept the judges sitting on that podium. You don't find anybody else, not even the lawyers. Everything is happening online. So you find an absolutely strange world. This is going to happen in India very soon. And technology that way would be very helpful in cutting down delays, cutting down time, expenses. Maybe it will also help the environment in cutting down pollution, because everybody need not drive to the Supreme Court or the High Court. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Shivangi.
This is Abhinav. I am an assistant professor here, and I am looking after the internships and placement. So basically, what I wanted to know is, as a person who is trying to search for various internship opportunities for my students here, we know that there is no replica for the desk jobs and desk internships. So now we know that every focus has shifted to the online internships, the virtual programs. But what I wanted to know from your expertise and high amount of experience, that how my students can benefit from this virtual internship that is being offered at almost every place, at almost every law firms and litigation chambers, because virtual internship doesn't has that required amount of output that your litigation and the other corporate internship, the physical internships have. So sir, if you could suggest that how my students can benefit from this online internship, that would be great, sir.
I admit it is a difficult world as far as the internship and placements are concerned. But I have been also observing that there certain firms have come up. Those who help the institutions in the internship and also placements, probably the law schools have to take help of all those firms. And there are firms also in law which will arrange internship for your students and also placements. That would be a better idea. So you can find out, you can surf internet, or you can find out from somebody else
Right.
that are there firms which provide opportunities or provide us expertise, or at least how the students can be sent on internship or for placement. That is the
Okay.
only way out. Otherwise, you regularly, the way we used to do earlier, we write to the law firms, or we write to the HR department, and then how many of them respond or they don't respond, I really do not know.
That's the challenge, right? So that's the main challenge.
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Hello, sir. May I ask a question?
Please.
Sir, do you believe that ADR is the
Thank you,
right
Abhinav.
way? That ADR is the right way in this current situation to go forward?
No, it is one way. It's not the only way. This is one way, not the only way. Wherever you find that ADR mechanisms can be effective, should be certainly tried. But I'm not saying that all litigation, the solution lies with the area. It's not. It is not that. But you find that uh, most of the firms which are coming to India for business, you find they are not interested in your courts. They have already a clause that how a particular dispute will be decided through arbitration. So you see that the practice of arbitration is picking up very fast, right? Arbitration has become a very important area. No?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Good
Gurpratap.
morning, sir.
Good morning.
My name is Rishadeep, sir. And I would like to ask you that how legal education will address the demographic and digital divide.
One thing is that we saw that uh, with the smartphone coming, yesterday I can share with you that I could not have access to any other, uh, neither, because all computers in my house was busy. I either with my daughter or my son-in-law or my granddaughter. And then they said, why don't you use your smartphone? So I conducted my meeting of the IAU, that is the International Association of Universities, 2.5 hour meeting on my, and it was a Blue Jean connectivity on my phone, and I can share with you that it was really very good. So phone is something which anybody can afford now, and there are. So I agree with you that digital device in this country, we are a country of haves and have-nots. And Krishna used to say a fourth world within the third world who is not visible to the naked eye. I certainly agree with you. But at the same time, the phone revolution, if you find a tea vendor, a milk vendor, or a vegetable vendor, if you go to them and they say, sir, just wait for a minute, I've got a phone call. So everything is being delivered on phone. Say the customers, they talk to them, will prepare a list and then send it. You need not go to them. There's a different kind of Amazon world, you know. There's a different kind of Amazon. So things are changing, certainly.
Yes, sir.
But the issue remains.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Vishudi.
Yeah, Misha.
Good morning, sir. My name is Misha Jain,
Yeah.
and I have a question regarding market concern of legal jobs. Like, how do we address the market concern of legal jobs?
I don't know. It's a very open question. But the best thing is that any student who aspires to go to a good law firm should have a good research background. When you say send your CV, it should speak for you that you have the potential to do very good research. And if they are convinced that you are a good researcher, they will certainly look at your CV and they will certainly give you a chance. But if you think just create a CV, like you find out how to create a good CV, find out from the internet and write the same words which everybody uses in their CVs, and create a CV where you don't have anything solid to say, then obviously it has no meaning. But to my mind, in future, much will depend on what kind of research potential you acquire, and that you acquire because of your own hard work. The institution and the faculty has very limited role. It is your interest. If you work hard to acquire those skills of a good researcher, you can certainly take the help of the library, database, software, librarians, faculty, but ultimately it will be your hard work. And then if you have the potential to write good articles, almost every law school would publish, or I see many good law colleges are publishing journals. And if you start sending there, then probably if you have good publications, you can send them there. That will certainly give you an edge. But if you have nothing in print, then you have no chance.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Hello,
Thank
sir.
you, Nisha.
My name is Arjun. Ma'am, can I go ahead asking my question?
Please.
Please, Arjun.
Okay. So, sir, this question came up to my mind being a second year law student as of now. Given the fact that we are living in a period of a pandemic as of now, are there some specific skills or is there something we need to keep in mind while going through the online internships or something specific that the employers are looking forward to?
Your seriousness. If you are a kind of intern, your timelines, your management, the way we have adopted a different kind of lifestyle now, that our day is night and night is day. We don't know what time we get up, what time we sleep. And our breakfast is at lunchtime, lunch time is dinner time we don't know. When is that dinner time? And sometimes I joke with my students that, can you tell me how big is the sun in the morning? Because they have not seen the sun for years and years because the entire lifestyle has changed. So it is all about convincing. Wherever you get in touch, if you are able to convince a person that you mean serious business, and if you create a good impression, you keep your timelines. If somebody, say for example, somebody will give you some assignment, and then you say, I was not feeling well and I had bad cold and I had fever and this and that. They're not interested in these things, you know. Let me give an example of one of my students who was serving in a very important law firm in Bombay. He told his colleague that I've got temperature and I want to go home. So he went, and then on way to his place, he got a call from the boss, the head of the law firm, and said, Siddharth, where are you? He said, sir, I was not feeling well and I'm going home. But what about your work? I told my colleague he will take care of that, but he has his own work to do, right? So he will not have time for your work. So in future, you are not leaving the place without informing me, number one. Number two, you come back You finish your work and then go. So life is not that what is with Goenka or with Ranbir Singh or anywhere else in any law school, whether you come to the class or you don't come to the class, listen to the teacher, you don't listen to the teacher, serious or non-serious, or sitting with a laptop, watching a movie or chatting with a student. That is not life of a good lawyer. It is a serious, very, very serious business. If you want to improve in life, you have to be very, very serious. Competition is very tough. Yes.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. So there is one question in the chat box. With the limited library resources, how we have to improve legal research and writing skills?
Now, why limited sources? Why limited? The word limited, I don't like. Who is the person asking the question? Is he there?
He's not there, sir. We have taken it from the Facebook page.
Okay, let me tell you that the kind of material which is available, free access to law, free access to law. If you look into the free access law, and if you don't, you can get in touch with my librarian at NLU Delhi, and Shri Priya Rai will tell you how much law material is free access, where you need to spend nothing. How many software? You can have access to almost every country's law, legislation, whatever you want, cases. But you have to try to find out free. If you see the free access to law, somewhere type it out, and you will find the whole range of material available on free access to law. So library has been, as I told you, the libraries have become meaningless actually. And libraries will not be there after 10, 15 years. The library space would be maybe a cafeteria space where you have digital content with you and you're studying and you're having coffee and the library is gone. So library would be not there in times to come. Yes.
Yes, sir. So there are a few more questions.
Sure, I'm free. You can ask me as many questions you like.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So lawyers, like, they have to anticipate the client needs. So how effective will be the digital counseling and communication skills during this period?
That depends because it is a difficult world even for the lawyers when they have to prepare and put their brief to the judge, and somewhere the judge is not satisfied, the lawyer is not satisfied, whether you get sufficient time or you don't get sufficient time. But unfortunately, these are new norms. Everybody had get used to this. So there is no final answer to this. There is no final answer to this.
Okay. Okay, sir. So another question. In the virtual world, even though we are connected to the whole world, at the same time, we are isolated. So how should we should help the students battle with their anxiety and mental health issues?
I think now almost every institution has the services of professionals, and those phone numbers or their links are passed on to the students so that if they have any issue of that you are under stress or you have any kind of anxiety, then you can get in touch with so and so, and the absolute we do it in the law schools, and an absolute secrecy is maintained about who got such help from the counselor. That is possible. Yeah.
There is one more question, but you had answered about the divide. Most of the universities responded to this change and they have shifted to the online teaching mode. But there are a lot of institutions who are still struggling with launching online platforms. So will it create a divide in years to come? That's the question.
It has already done it. It has already done it. See, we in India have 1,600 colleges, right? And 250 law faculties, and then 24 law universities or law schools. By and large, these 24 law schools do not have that problem. So 250 law faculties also to a great extent do not have problems. But these 1,600 colleges, fortunately, unfortunately, have been opened or allowed to be opened by the Bar Council of India at places where there are no facilities, right? So in a country like ours, digital divide at that level in those institutions is bound to be there. We have to see whether, as I said in the beginning, that we are in 21st century with 19th century structures. So if our governing structures are 19th century structures, how do we cope up with the 21st century developments? So that is a huge challenge. And I definitely agree that we have a knowledge divide, we have a digital divide, we also have a democratic divide. I agree.
Yes, sir. Now, so we are going through these unprecedented times, but maybe later we will be shifting back to the campus. So what are the few things you think that will stick with us once we go back to our campus?
Will be still scared will not be shaking hands. There'll be no hugs as far as the students are concerned. They will be all uh, looking at each other like strangers. It would be an entirely different world, because this is a kind of a disease which you never know. You may get infected from anywhere. Even in our houses, we are scared. We are not inviting our relations. We are not meeting our friends. And if anybody phones me, I'll say, "Oh, thank you very much for calling me, but I'm in the process of settling down. All my things are scattered. It will take some time, maybe a week or 10 days, 15 days. I'll get back to you. Sometime I get back to them, and sometime I never get back to them." In fact, we are so scared that we really don't want to meet people. Let me frankly share with you.
Right,
And
sir.
then
Right.
when the institutions open, the students will be scared of the teachers, and the teachers would be scared of the students. The more issue would be, where is your mask? Why are you not wearing your mask? You are coughing, or you have got some kind of cold. You sit at the back. He'll say, "Why? This is my seat. I don't want to go at the back. I'll sit there." And teacher will say, "Okay, you sit here. I leave the class and go." So you will see that, because everybody would be under tension. So everybody would be under stress, and then you will like to impose different kind of norms, which you are not a police officer. You're not police officer. They'll not listen to you. They will listen to a constable, but will not listen to a faculty. That is the character of the students. What can you do? So understand your timelines. Understand your Lakshman Rekha, beyond which you cannot go, and you should not. You should not. So you have to learn to ignore certain things, which even if you don't like, you keep shut. Right? Otherwise, you'll be in a
Right, sir.
problem. Otherwise, you'll be in a problem. No?
So there are like two more questions. Can I ask you?
No, definitely. I said I'm free.
So you had talked about the internships. Now, regarding the clinical courses, which is part of the curriculum. So in order to effectively, how we fall in the digital legal aid clinics?
There are four clinical legal education subjects, right? One is ADR. I already discussed with that. Another is pleading convincing. There is no problem about that. And one is legal aid. And legal aid, you can prepare legal aid material. No, legal awareness material can be prepared by the students. You don't need physical. Only thing is that you can't adopt a village. You can't go there. You can't speak to them in person. But then you can prepare material, digital material, or legal awareness material in the form of posters. And then you can maintain a helpline. Anybody can speak to you. You can maintain a helpline. Why not? Right? So those kind of some changes here and there can be made so that the system keep working. No? And a lot of students were helping the migrant workers in COVID-19 in terms of financial help, or in terms of clothes, or in terms of their travel requirements, and all kinds of things were being done by certain legal aid committees. And even those restrictions which were being done in because of those two acts, right, citizenship and those residency conditions. NLU was very actively working 39A under the 39A project. You become innovative. When you have problems, you become very innovative. No,
Yes, sir.
necessity is the mother of invention. So we find ways and means to survive. That's how the human beings are here. And if they would not have found ways and means to survive, we would not have been here. Because the evolution of human being has been very, very difficult. But we're still here in great number, right? And we will survive the COVID-19 as well. No?
You are very optimistic. Yes, we will.
We have
And
to.
with that, I'll come to the last question. What are the new possible innovations in learning? This will be my last question. There is no other plan.
I think, as I said in the beginning, that more and more dependence on internet-related information. As I said, the major thing would be that you find a lot of information in the internet, but how that information will be turned into knowledge, right? How much is relevant for you, how much is not relevant for you. There's a lot of rubbish also available. And that is all not knowledge. And then how you turn that knowledge into wisdom. So that is what is required. That whatever knowledge you acquire, you do good research, and you come out with new ideas. That would be the wisdom you acquire. That can apply to any subject across in any discipline, right? Yeah.
Right, sir.
Any questions?
So any more questions?
Anything from teachers? Anything from teachers?
Sir, if you are free, then I have to ask something.
Sure.
Sir, like we have not started e-course yet in India, and not we have also started e-study
Who is
in
this?
India.
Who is this?
Sir, my name is
Jatin.
Jatin Jindal.
What is your name?
Sir, Jatin Jindal.
Jatin Saab, where are you from?
Sir, I am from Sona.
Sona. How far is Sona from Delhi?
Sir, it's around 20 to 30 kilometers.
Only na?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever seen the website of NLU Delhi?
Sir, not yet.
Have you seen the website of UGC?
Sir, which?
University Grant Commission?
Sir, I have seen, but not very deeply.
Did you try to see the website of HRD? What study material is available in SWAM? SWAM
Sir,
portal?
it's all, sir, I am saying to try that in online study, we are not getting as much as we can study in offline.
I tell you, Jatin, we never knew that COVID-19 situation is going to come. NLU Delhi,
So, sir,
just listen to me.
yes, sir.
We were called by UGC that we want to create e-Pathshala. We have a e-Pathshala project. And I was a part of that project. I got that project for NLU Delhi. And you will be amazed to know that with a span of 2 years, we involved the teachers from all over the country, and we wrote 700 audio-visual lectures. 700 audio-visual lectures, which are freely available on the portals of NLU Delhi and portals of HRD's SWAM portal, e-Pathshala project. And they are 700 lectures are not less. And any student of LLB, LLM can download those lectures, and they are on best of topics. And there are then more than a dozen MOOC courses. We are the only law school which created MOOC course last year. And there are almost a dozen, and where thousands and thousands of students are benefiting, and it is all free. So try to explore that material. Beyond your classrooms, there are visual lectures available in India. There are audio-visual lectures available outside India. Like places like
Yes, sir.
Melbourne, Stanford, Harvard, Yale. If you get into this, you find a lot of audio-visual lectures, or even on your, if you type YouTube, theory of justice, you find Sandler's lectures, a series of Sandler's lectures. Wonderful, wonderful professor of Harvard Law School, Sandler. And if you type democracy, you find wonderful lectures on democracy. If you type artificial intelligence in YouTube, you find wonderful articles of Richard Siskin, even presentations which he made to the Wendell, which other law school. You have everything. थोड़ा सा बाकी चीजों को छोड़ के इसको देखो ना, काम की चीजों को, पर वो आप तो कुछ और ही देखते रहते हो, कुछ क्या कहना.
Yes, sir, sure.
If you are busy with movies and other stuff, then how Ranbir Singh can help? But let me tell you, my friend, beyond classroom, these digital platforms of your YouTube, like even if anything you want, you Google and search, you find. I do it when I do lecture somewhere. I just Google and find out what are the articles available. Download those articles. It gives you wealth of latest material. Huh? करो तो सही, बहुत कुछ
Sure, sir,
अवेलेबल.
I will find today only.
नहीं जतिन, बहुत कुछ अवेलेबल है. स्वयं पोर्टल है उसका, स्वयं पे स्वयं है ना, गुरु का भी है, स्वयं है, इतने पोर्टल्स हैं. If you get into HRD and find a lot of audio visual stuff for law, मैंने कहा ना 700 लेक्चर तो हमने किए हुए हैं. 700 lectures audio visual in criminology, criminal law and other subjects. थोड़े नहीं होते हैं 700. आपको टीचर की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी. You find almost every topic in law. They are even useful for teachers. Even useful for teachers. If you want to know about postmodernism in law, जिसका हमें कुछ नहीं पता होगा 90%, 99% को, find out. You will find a beautiful audio visual lecture of half an hour or more. You get आप लेटे सुन लीजिए, समझ गए. किताब पढ़ने की जरूरत नहीं है. You come to understand everything.
Yes, sir, sure.
थोड़ा कष्ट करो.
Okay, sir, will.
थोड़ा कष्ट करो सीखने का ना. हाँ नहीं, हम भी ऐसे ही, हमारी जनरेशन में कुछ नहीं था भाई. When we came up, we had nothing, none of these facilities, no law schools.
Excuse me, sir.
There were no law schools.
Wanted some of your insight on this thing itself. That don't you think that the touch of a teacher in every lecture, I don't think that can be comparable to any online lectures as such, because even if we talk about videos that you're just talking about.
Yeah, they are also best of lecturers and professors around the globe.
You're right on that, sir. But what I just presenting my view over here, that what I feel is that I mean, just looking at a lecture, of course, when you study or you just watch a lecture, you have a lot of doubt, right? So what I feel is that while studying through a teacher, we can obviously clarify those doubts, while if you're studying through an actual video, in that case, what I feel is that in order to clarify those doubts, again, we'll have to go to different websites, we'll have to go on the internet on searching those questions, right? So
no, if you have a doubt, then go to your faculty. What for the faculties? But we can definitely hold different briefs. Two lawyers need not agree. There need not be inclusion to when they argue over a case. We can disagree, no problem. I have no problem. You need not agree with me, whatever I say. You can say what you talk is all nonsense. I will say yes. Because I can't convince everybody. That's not my job. That's not the job of the teacher also. We just introduce you to a particular way of thinking. You may agree with us, you may not agree with us. We believe that you may not agree with us. That would be wonderful. Because then you have your own thinking. Develop that. Good thing. No? Somebody is... okay.
Any more questions?
Yes. I can take one or two questions more. If there is any question. Anybody from the faculty? Faculty से कोई है? किसी का कोई question? Otherwise we say bye-bye. Good.
So a lawyer never stops learning the law, sir. So continue.
Nobody.
Nobody.
There's no end to the knowledge. You keep learning whole time. Oh, like I'm still learning, even after retirement. For your lecture, I learned a lot of things. These are not my areas, technology and law and all that. So you had to read a lot, right?
So
Yes.
thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Now we are able to identify the disruption in the delivery of education. And we will ensure that we will find ways in order to have different ways of inclusive learning and also to tackle the digital divide. Thank you, Professor Dr. Ranbir Singh, for sharing your thoughts and giving us the quality time to interact with our faculty and our students. On behalf of GD Goenka University, I extend a heartfelt vote of thanks to you, sir, for gracing the occasion. Thank you so much for coming and giving us the wonderful time to interact.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for all
Thank
that
you, sir.
honor and for the time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you
Sabri,
very
sir,
much for
would
finding
like to
time,
add.
sir. Yes, sir. Thank you very much for finding time and sharing really great thoughts and very innovative ideas about the law and technology, and also how we have to learn how to behave after the post-COVID-19 period. So it was a great learning experience. So thank you very much.